Wow, there's a lot of abilities I don't have anymore.
Haha. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and get this.
Do they have the new talent trees in there? In
Yes.
pre-patch?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That'll be interesting.
Well, let's get this dog and pony show on the road then.
Hey, that'll be interesting because if it's in pre-patch, our legendaries are still going to be useful, right? So that's going to be interesting because we're going to be able to double dip if some of our legendaries, like I will have a legendary still, so I won't have to take that talent, the one that in Resto Druids, the one that I said you took together and they screwed up one of the talent trees because it either gives you either or and you can't take them together.
Except I think when the pre-patch drops, it'll be the 10.0 client, and it'll probably depower the legendaries.
Oh,
I think that's how it usually works.
that sucks. I don't want them to depower them. I want them to repower them.
Well, they're not going to do that.
Well, that's dumb.
They're not going to repower something that they're turning off.
Dumb.
3, 2, 1.
So, welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In, starting our third year of podcasting.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Our third year? Our second year?
We finished our second year. We're starting our third year
already.
Oh my god.
Crazy. I know. It is a weekly World of Warcraft podcast with 3 opinionated players who just can't really fathom the passage of time, who like to get together to discuss our thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim. I am joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Ryan.
My name is Brian.
My name is Kristen.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you guys. It's been a while since we've gotten together and chatted about World of Warcraft. Yeah,
you just said it was a weekly.
Yeah, it's been a week since we got together to talk about it, so it's been a while.
The current state of the game?
Yeah. So, a couple of developments. So,
Yay!
Over the last hour.
Couple of developments. Go ahead, share your news.
Today, Blizzard announced that there is a new mount in the game.
No, they acknowledge Jim as the shill.
Yes,
okay.
Jim is the shill.
So earlier, before we started, Brian sends a message saying, hey, the pre-patch for Dragonflight is on the PTR, and sends a screenshot of the talent tree stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay. Let me go take a look and get that installed, because I would like to go take a look, get familiar with some of that stuff and whatnot. And I go to change the thing, and there at the top of my list of things is the Dragonflight beta.
How often do you flip that little
I look
menu,
at it.
though?
I've been looking at it quite a lot lately.
Okay, I was about to say,
ever since,
how long have you had it?
No, it has to be recent, because beta just started like a week or two ago. So when they announced that the public beta was starting, I was like, okay, well, I went and looked. I didn't have it. Obviously alpha's over, so they're doing that. And then, so I went back to the page and just signed up again, because I wasn't sure I didn't recall if I had ever signed up. I figured I did. I don't know if they had a different pool for alpha and beta, but I'm pretty sure I signed up for beta, but I did it again anyway. And then it was in the last day or two that I checked it just to look to see if there was anything on there. I don't know why, and then your comment prompted me to look again. And then, so there's the beta. So
There's the beta.
There it is.
There
There's
it
the
is.
beta.
So it's sitting there. I
Not doing anything. Just sitting there.
installed it. Luckily, it didn't take very long. I logged in. I copied my main character over.
And logged out.
Logged into the game. And it went through, like, I guess, like the intro stuff, like, you know, blah, 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 the dragons, yeah. And it's like showing a cinematic that is
of the jailer's feet.
it's a work in progress. So it's got the big red X says work in progress. So there's the voiceover, and I don't know if it's Thrall, it's some orc talking about the dragons or whatnot. And while this is going on, you're watching a vision of the rune carver chained up as Zoval is telling him what he's going to make him build, which is, you know, Frostmourne and the Helm of Domination and all that stuff. So it's that cutscene with a red X over it. And I'm like,
I don't even. When was that? I don't even.
I
remember.
don't even remember that. I don't even know if it was in the game.
Was it one of the memories? Maybe
It must have been.
It
because-
definitely was funny.
But yeah, the whole time, like, there's this voiceover, and then like Zoval's
Well, it was
talking.
missing the floor or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, it was not.
I don't know. I'm like, I'm gonna cancel this now.
Yeah, so you saw it too.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
PTR.
So I'm like, what is going on?
I wonder if they just.
Oh,
threw
that's
it-
true. I'm sorry. We have to differentiate, don't we? I have the PTR downloaded.
Well-
You have the shill status.
You have shill status, yes.
Okay, guys, that's not funny.
It's a little funny.
It's maybe a little funny.
It is a little
Anyway.
funny, I'm
A little
sorry.
funny.
I log in and I'm looking around and I don't see my character. And then like I see something where the character should be, and I zoom in and it's a little 4x2 blue and white checkered box that is my character.
Uh,
Oh yeah, Jim's
I
a
was-
box.
And I was just like, the fuck is this? Did
It's a
not
Rubik's
finish
Cube.
copying it over. It's not even a full Rubik's Cube. It's like not enough squares. And then I went to go mount and it just popped me up. I will say immediately, just looking at this new UI, it is nice. It's nice the way it was, the way it was the default layout. So they have
Yeah.
So if you go into the edit tools, you can switch between the modern layout and the classic layout. The classic layout's where the classic layout puts your health bar and stuff in the top left corner like it all used to be.
Yeah.
The modern one has it positioned down above the action bars and whatnot. So that's like their modern version. Now, I don't know if the UI scaling stuff is not working very well because I went to go turn that on so I could crank it
Jim,
down.
I totally forgot that they have the edit the
That's what I'm talking about.
edit UI.
So
How-
I went to go in to do the normal thing where, okay, let's just talk about the fucking options menu. It's like they took away system and interface from the game menu thing and just put options, and you load it up, and then
Oh,
you got
good.
you got a sidebar with everything on there, and it's all in its own window. It's clean looking. It looks nice. It is.
Dude, everything feels so poppy. I turned all my add-ons off. I didn't load anything.
I didn't load any add-ons I didn't put any on the beta.
Everything just feels poppy and like modern. I don't know. It's very, very sleek.
I think they redid
and
all
not
the
like not
animations.
enough to be extreme like in terms of changes either.
It still feels like WoW,
It does.
but it feels like a clean WoW.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
not that dirty WoW that we're used
That
to
There
playing.
dirty
is.
little-
I can't find the ability to change the action bar art because you're supposed to be able to change it from the griffins to the wyverns,
Oh.
but I can't find that
Oh.
option. There's option to hide it, like if you're editing and stuff like that. But yeah, the edit stuff's pretty good. You can't move the quest tracker, which I don't like, and I don't see anything for moving the.
I mean, you could still just have move
back-
anything.
You could,
And
but-
then move anything.
but again. Oh, that's right. I went to go do the UI scale because even with it the way it was, it's a little bigger than I like. I wanted to shrink the down a little bit, but if you activate it and hit the slider and apply, even if you crank it all the way to the left, as small as it goes, it's bigger than the default. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right. But I don't know. It's, yeah, so like I just got done moving some UI stuff around and to where I think I'd like it. It's nice. It feels nice. It's like you can change your add-ons to do different things, or like the action bars can be stacked and all that stuff. It's like I may run the default UI for a while. It just feels that nice and clean. I don't know if it covers.
I'm so switching back. I'm turning everything off. I'm gonna be so vanilla when this thing comes out.
I mean, I'll put on some of the stuff like for like gathering. Like
I don't know. I kind of still like ElvUI. Like it has everything that I need in just one. Actually, that's not true because I have like 100 add-ons that I use.
Yeah.
So, but just think of how many I would have if I didn't have ElvUI.
99.
No.
Was mouse over cast a thing before, or did you have to like super macro?
I have macros.
No, they added.
But there's click. That's kind of.
They added a mouse over add-on type thing in the game. However, I don't think it works the way you can't. It's not as configurable as like the mouse over. So like if you have a spell that you can use to attack and heal, like Chain Harvest for the Covenant thing.
Or Penance.
Well,
for priests.
Yeah.
Because you can attack or heal with it.
Because you can, so it's I messed around with it a little bit. I didn't like it because I don't remember why. It didn't work as well as my normal just mouse over macros. I don't think it was as customizable.
There wasn't like a help harm.
It was just
that
you just had the normal on the mouse over or not, and like I think it was messing with my ability to cast. Like I had it on and I was trying it, and like things just weren't going off because my mouse was in the wrong spot or something like that, and it was causing me some problems. So I turned it off and just used the macros I had. I don't know if they're going to make it more customizable for that or not, but that was something they added, I think, end of BFA, beginning of Shadowlands, when they put that kind of functionality in. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst, you know?
I just, like, I have a mouse over macro for when I'm healing for, like, my wrath, that I can keep my,
targeted target.
I can keep my mouse over my grid because I'm healing, so usually I'm using my grid to and I can just target somebody, and whatever they're targeting is whatever I shoot my wrath at, which is nice.
So that's there. I logged in and they immediately gave me the season 4 Keystone Master mount.
They usually do that in the
beta,
betas.
and I was just like, oh, now I really got to work on that.
Yeah.
That's like the Death Elemental one.
Yeah, it's not very nice.
You don't like the mount?
Yeah.
It's like the glacial mount for the.
Yeah,
I like that.
really
I like it.
it.
That's fine. Whatever. I want it.
I want it. It's gonna replace the Jelly Cat.
No. Which we're close to getting. I think we got 2 bosses left to do.
Yay.
Lords of Dread and the Jailer. So it'll be a fun next raid night because that's probably all we will be working on.
Yep. But then we'll have it, and then we'll be done, and nobody will want to play anymore.
It's fine. I'll do dungeons, and I'll play beta, and I'll play Wrath of the Lich King Classic because I'm leveling old school Death Knights again, and it's interesting as fuck because it is completely different. And speaking of, back to what I was initially going to start, there was a announcement today from Blizzard. They basically, if you complete the starting area for Death Knight, if you make a Death Knight and get out of the starting area and get to your capital city, you will be rewarded in retail with a mount that is like, it's the Frostbrood Protodrake. So it's it's a blue Protodrake, which is nice because I don't have the fucking blue Protodrake yet. Still, Scotty just doesn't love me. but it's got like some like bony protrusions on it, like and like the head is like kind of like skull like and all this stuff. It's a neat looking mount. So it's the fact that they put that in is like, so if you're playing the game, you're sub. So classic and Wrath Classic and all that stuff is included with that. They also allow you to initially make a free DK on any server to start, whereas before you had to have a level 55 character before you could even make a DK. But after you create the first one, you can't make another DK on another server unless I think you have a level 70. But so you can make one for free, and it doesn't take that long to level out of that zone. It's still fairly quick, because Death Knights are pretty fucking overpowered from back in the day. So it's an easy mount to get. It's a neat looking mount. It's one Kristen will never use because she's a druid.
Yeah, that's the only problem with playing druid is it's hard. It's hard to be a druid.
Yeah, I'm not sure because they said you'll be able to use this. Let's see. I thought there was something about using it in Dragonflight. But I don't know if that was just what somebody said, because it would be interesting if it was one that you could then use for dragon riding as well, but I don't think it is. So I must have just read something and just had wishful hopes and dreams that didn't come to fruition. So, but yeah, so that's going on. I've been enjoying the Wrath Classic stuff. Primarily because it's really when I got super heavy into WoW anyway, was that patch and all that stuff, that version of the game. It definitely is a step up, I think, in playability from the way that BC and whatnot was. It's not just because
it's definitely the fun patch, and it's probably the funnest patch they've ever put out. Or pre-patch, I'm sorry. It's probably the funnest pre-patch they've ever put out.
I haven't
Can you be an evoker in the pre-patch?
We're talking Wrath.
Oh, you're talking Wrath. Oh.
Right. Yeah. And no, invokers are not available
in Wrath.
In Wrath.
In Wrath, they're not available on the PTR either, and I don't know if they'll be available
in pre-patch.
I don't remember if...
Haven't they started making them so they are? Like, Demon Hunter was available in pre-patch, wasn't it? Yes, if you pre-purchased
it, you could make it. So my guess is that
Evoker would be the same.
My guess is yes. However, I don't know. It really, I guess it really depends on what they're doing with the game and the lore and all that stuff, if they even care about that.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Because did we actually open up the islands like right at the beginning type of thing? Or
we opened it up in the beginning of the expansion. I don't know if, obviously some shit's going to happen.
Some shit goes down.
Probably be fighting magical elementals related to the dragonflights. And that actually would be a pretty decent time for the evokers to emerge, so to speak. I went into the character creation.
We could invoke them.
Invoke them to evoke them?
Yeah, I definitely need to make an evoker.
We awoke them.
We awoke the evokers?
Blizzard, I need to get beta so I can heal Jim. So
you just give it up, sister. I think
just make it happen.
Way too much.
I know. Just make it happen. Hey, I had Shadowlands. I had beta for Shadowlands. So I feel like they should just roll that in. Usually what happens
user
for me
has a shit list and we're on it.
Usually what happens to me is I get it for an expansion and then I miss it for an expansion and then I get it for an expansion and then I get it every other. And it's usually not the expansion that Jim gets it.
For me, it's usually a week before launch that I get beta. So I mean, this is pretty fucking early in the game. So, but yeah, so
beta.
They did. So you know how the Worgen, like if you're doing your Worgen, it affects like the human part.
Yeah.
Like it's not like that for the evokers.
Yeah, you can just make it look.
The visage and the dragon form are separate.
Yeah.
So they don't.
That's good. That's smart.
That is good. And
they should do that with the Worgen. They should separate them.
They might. I don't know.
They should.
But and I think part of it too is that I think you have to be. So you pick your armor, and I'm pretty sure the armor that's on your dragonkin or your Drakthir form doesn't change with your gear. That's just what it is. But because it's cosmetic, means that you can probably go to the barber and change it whenever you want.
And go to the cash shop and buy yourself some new armor because it's cosmetic.
It's not cosmetic in the sense that it's something that you can transmog.
Yeah, I know.
It's cosmetic as in that it's a character thing. It's like part of the character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they were to put ways to earn character customization stuff in there that you could then have access to for your characters, just in general, like ways to do it in the game and then have special ones on the cash shop, for cheap or something. I mean, I'm all about the cosmetic stuff being, whatever, either if you're going to do that though, drop the subscription down a considerable
amount.
Amount.
Say, like, there's no way.
Right.
They should. They need a lot more stuff that's achievement based, anyways. So, at least to derive more things to do in the game.
It would be cool if you could go in and do an achievement and go participate in like a bunch of duels, and then you could earn like facial scars. Like the Schlager fencing stuff that they used to have. Like like the people would have scars on their face from fencing. And it was kind of like a mark of honor type thing. It was like an old German thing they used to do way back in the day. But like stuff like that where you could go do stuff in the game and it would earn you cosmetic or character customization things, which I don't know if they have a system that is built to where they could just add an unlock thing and stuff like that. It's probably not set up for that, but it would be interesting. But shit, I had some other stuff I wanted to talk about. I don't remember what it was.
What?
Sorry,
you got
Jim.
so excited about having beta.
Yeah. Oh no, it's this is something.
Have you mastered it yet?
No, I'm not a master beta yet. Yeah, I get where you're going. So,
it's so sad.
Is it Microsoft or somebody published a blog talking about the merger with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, and they were talking about how all the Activision Blizzard games are going to go to the Game Pass. And they explicitly called out Overwatch, Diablo, and Call of Duty, but the banner they have includes stuff like WoW and StarCraft and even Candy Crush, because why that would need to be on the Game Pass, I don't fucking know. But it would be interesting to see if they're going to do that, because then that means console versions of these games, which would be an interesting addition to have, World of Warcraft on a console. So apparently we had some technical difficulties with our Discord call. I don't know what was missed. We were talking about just kind of a recap. I'm not sure when it cut out. Did you hear us talking about the Game Pass stuff?
Yeah, we stopped somewhere around the Game Pass, World of Warcraft being on some banner.
Right. It was, so they had a banner that shows Xbox plus Activision Blizzard King, and it's got a bunch of games and WoWs on there. So yeah, we were just kind of talking about how
are they going to put WoW on the Xbox?
That's what we were talking about.
Like,
what we were kind of getting to, like how weird that would be for it to be on a console.
Well, not really. I mean, Final Fantasy does it successfully, so I don't see why WoW shouldn't be able
I don't know if WoW has the controller support yet built in. Did they?
Sure.
Man, they need to hire the con support folks, man, because I'm still playing that thing on Steam Deck, like the classic pre-patch right now, and it's just fantastic.
Oh, that's right, because you got it working on the Steam Deck and all the controller support and stuff.
Now it's a pain in the butt to get it running, especially with add-ons to get the con support, and like I use Questy to help out.
How do you play it on the Steam Deck? Like, is it a Steam Deck complicated. A console thing, right? Like
Steam Deck's a computer, and it's a Linux.
It is a computer. It
like
runs on a Linux.
OS.
Yeah, so Steam has their own distribution that they make, but on top of it, they use something called Proton. And Proton, whatever it uses underneath it, it's like Wine. If you've ever heard of Wine, it actually can emulate Windows.
Right.
So it actually has, every time you like install a sliver of this thing, it has like a full Windows-based file structure to it in these little areas. So my World of Warcraft installation area has all this, but the whole point is like you can execute the runtime as Windows, and it will write using that emulation into a file system that emulates Windows, and then runs it as a controlled process, however it does its magic. So now I have, and the Steam Deck allows you to open it up so you could swap to the OS mode. So you get a desktop looking environment, like a Ubuntu desktop type thing, which looks a lot like Windows and stuff like that. And so you can go out and you can download your stuff. You can run that, the launcher, and it will install normally.
But what I'm asking is how it's like a controller thing, right? So how are you playing?
So first off, it's touchscreen.
Oh, so
you can run in both modes. You can run a virtual keyboard, or it's got a USB-C connection, so you can hook up a keyboard and mouse. And it is just a computer, so it acts all the same. And then it's a x86 architecture computer. It's not like something crazy like MacBooks are nowadays. It's actually like the same CPU architecture, so there's no difference there. Everything works as normal. It's just a matter of jumping through the hoops.
So you just touch the screen to hit your spells or whatever.
No, that's
if you have it set up that way. Like in my case, I've already set up I pulled in console port. I had keyboard and mouse. I pulled in the add-ons and I loaded it up. And as soon as you load it up, it can already detect the controller. The controller is already there on the system, however it sees that. So you can start navigating through the menus and stuff and set up console port right off the bat.
Yeah, that's the
only thing you have to do is... So here's the tricky part. This is where it gets weird. So the Steam Deck mode is like the other side of it, right? So if you imagine you're on Windows and clicking around stuff. Oh, imagine Windows 8, if you remember that. Remember it had that flip mode where it's tablet mode, and then flip, you go back to desktop mode. Yeah. It's kind of like that, right? But the Steam Deck OS, it wants to be able to control the process. So for the launcher, you actually have to hook it up as a non-Steam game, and then it will run, and you can update and everything automatically, all that cool stuff, and you can go directly into the World of Warcraft process when it launches, which is really interesting because it seems like it's a single process on that side. It's like, oh, add this non-Steam game, point to the launcher, okay, you're good. And I'm like, oh crap, so you got to do one, then you got to do the other, but no, it knows it. So once you get back to the clean side, right, the user-friendly side, it's just an option in my menu that says Battle.net Launcher, and I just hit that, and it, logs me into the launcher like normal, and I just hit play on the touchscreen, and that's the character screen. I have to touch the screen to log into my character, and that's it. After that point, I'm controller then, after I got it set up. So it's not as actually... I mean, I guess it may be easier for a lot of folks, I don't know, that just do this stuff more often. But generally speaking, it is not as difficult as I actually thought it might be. But they do a lot of work to hide where the files get planted at when you install stuff.
said doo-doo.
Oh yeah, they do. Yep, they do. They poo all over it because the file structure to get down to the World of Warcraft folder to do like add-ons and stuff is like probably 7 to 10 folders deeper than it normally is from your like C drive or wherever you put it on Windows. So all that being said, playing the game on the Steam Deck at night where you're chilling out before bed, oh my gosh, it just feels so much different. And two, just the way if you've ever used a Switch or anything like that, just that handheld mode, and as soon as you start flying, and the way they've done flying with the controls and that console port add-on, dude, it's so like it was like built into the game. That's what it feels like.
Wow.
The only thing that I still find weird is just the drastic amount of spells you got to keep up with and the combinations you got to do to get them to appear. And I always like fat finger something stupid, like I think I threw like a fireball or something by accident when I was trying to mount instead. But it's such a unique experience. Like it's shocking that like they don't have a good path forward for this, because even though that machine is like, it's a fairly high performant machine, and that the CPU, like you can't just buy the one they put on there, right? It's the same style architecture, but it was crafted specifically for that, just like they did for Xbox and PS5, and it's comparable as well. Like it actually has a lot of the same, at least in terms of CPU cores and GPU cores and stuff like that the consoles do, which is scary. But it's optimized to be able to, withhold battery power and stuff like that. And the game plays fluid at like 60 frames per second on that screen. It is amazing. Now, granted, it's only like 800p or something like that. But it's incredible, honestly. Like it's a match made in heaven, and it is absolutely amazing. In Rand.
Yeah, they need to just add controller support, period, to the game.
They do, and I'm not gonna lie. I just reconfigured my character in pre-patch, and I lost tons of spells. It looks like, and it feels great. Just saying. Like,
did you go through the talent trees?
No, Jim, I didn't do that at all. Yes, I went through the talent trees.
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
Fuck
Sassy.
you!
Yes, I went through the damn talent trees, and I'm telling you, like now obviously it's not max level, so I don't know what you're gonna get back once you level up. But in this case, though, like I was selective. I didn't go and choose every damn clickable skill possible, but I got back most of what I wanted. Aside from Rend. And I think I combined Slam and Whirlwind together so that my Rage Dump is kind of like decent-ish. And it took away quite a bit. So the point being, like, I could see this being consolable in terms of like managing buttons and stuff like that. So because I still don't think that like that whole swap your boom 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 is, I don't know if that's how Final Fantasy works, but like you click a different button and it pops up something else.
I think you hit certain buttons and it changes what
I don't play it on console.
What you see.
No, I know, but like you have the layouts there, but you can, I think it's the way it is certain buttons.
Like it chains.
Yeah, I bet that's probably where they got it from when they designed it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't, in my opinion, it's just not.
It's a lot when you have a lot of spells. There.
It's true, yeah. And I feel like the key combination, like the old school gaming where you press 2 buttons at the same time,
Yeah.
I think that would work better, in my opinion. Just because it's that more of a console state than it is like,
yeah.
I think. But at that point, it kind of gets scary because you get into action RPG land.
Yeah.
I think,
and honestly, that.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, honestly, it started to feel like that, which I didn't actually mind. But once you hit the point of MMO world again, where you like stop, measure your distance, prepare, attack, do all the stuff, mitigate, loot, that process feels clunky at that point on that setup. And that's where the immersion kind of breaks down a little bit. So it's really hard to say because I'm like, oh man, as quick as I'm able to jump in and do stuff handheld wise, like I feel the action RPG-ness of this. I said penis. And I enjoy it. If there was just some way, you know what I mean? Can you imagine like imagine that when you're playing World of Warcraft, you have an action RPG perspective when you're doing combat or something, or even just crafting instead, right? Where one is involved and the other side's not, right? So maybe like when you're around town doing your stuff, crafting and all that junk, maybe it's super clickable and very interactable and stuff like that. But you got chill mode sometimes where you can just go out and just go rampage, murder everything in sight, Anakin Skywalker style, right? But super simple.
I think a game that would probably do well on controller support is Guild Wars 2, only because their spells you only ever have 10. And like
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. And you always have a healing spell, don't you? Wasn't that one of their gimmicks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you always have a heal that does either AoE heals on the ground or heals you directly.
A debuff or
just different things and stuff. But and that's you have weapon swap, which changes your like first 5 abilities, and it's got a dodge mechanic. That game is like an action MMORPG because it's got the RPG elements, but it's got the you just have to really like figure out how to like do like inventory management and all that kind of stuff and make it more console friendly. But and I think because you were saying that you're saying that your class feels more streamlined again, because
it kind of does, but I fear that's like only because it's not out yet. Well,
even then, I mean, they're still working on the trees and all that stuff, so that's subject to change. But you're level 60.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like you could select a hell of a lot more clickable skills than I did. Like I'm very much the one that's going to opt for less, just because my old man syndrome.
Yeah,
right?
No, I like less. Less is more.
Well, and that's what I mean, though. It's like there's only 10 more levels after this, and even if you get 10 more talent points,
oh yeah, it's
fair, only 10 more points, and some of those take a while to get to because you still got to go through all the passives and stuff. But I mean, you can have a build, like you said, that's a lot more streamlined with less clicking or less clickable abilities, or you can do a different build and one, you can fucking save the build so you can hot swap between them.
I know,
in a
it's
rest
so
area,
cool, man.
So like if
nice.
you're wanting to do something and you need a certain build, you do it, which I think is going to bring a lot more utility back to the players and give you more options, because you can be effective in multiple ways. Like you can be an effective DPS, either with a lot more abilities and a lot more, control.
How many templates do you get?
I don't think that there's a limit. How many limits are there for?
Good point.
Well, how many limits are there for equipment sets? Because I know there's an upper limit for that, right? So it would probably be something similar to that, which I think is like 10 or 15. I want to say, I don't know. I can go look and just make some random ones, or Brian could too on the PTR. But we can see what the upper limit is. I don't think it's going to be anything like probably lower than 5 would be my guess. But even then, 5's
the loadout. The loadout's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. For your talents.
That's what it looks like. That's what they call it, is loadout. So
yeah, I guess that's fucking Call of Duty. Fucking creeping
that's
into that shit. It
all
fucking
that
is.
Freaking first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Loadout thing. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, but it would be interesting to know what that is, because you can create quite a few, and if they made them, like let's say you could have 5 per spec.
I mean, I'm at 5 right now, but I'll keep going.
And you're on 1 spec.
Yeah,
it probably auto changes.
I also found a bug too.
Oh, report it.
It's funny. I'm at 6 though, so it's definitely more than 5 if that's what.
That already sounds like a fair decent amount.
Agreed.
It's at least 6 is at least 2 per spec for the average class. 1.5 for druids. 3 for demon hunters, and I guess 3 for evokers too, because they only have 2 specs. But it's
wait, what? 1.5 for druids?
Because they have 4. If there's 6, that's 1.5 per spec. But it's gonna be something that's a nice feature to have too, because then you don't have to. I still don't know how they're gonna deal with if you want to change like some of the earlier talents and you want to how
that's gonna impact your later ones.
Yeah, it's like it might force you to just reset, or it might just undo the whole tree that's dependent on it, or it might disable them until you add more in. I don't know. It's something to mess with, but I'll have time to do that at some point, maybe, because beta, BTR are there. So, yeah, I don't know. I was really impressed with just the overall feel, just the overall UI feel. It
feels so fresh, man. It feels so fresh.
Have you tried even going into the edit mode yet?
I have. I've already redecorated my layout.
Yeah.
It's it's great. The only thing that I think, and I saw this on someone's stream, is that they don't have snap. They don't snap. They have grid lines, but they don't snap. Right.
And I don't know if any of the add-ons that I've used have snap like that.
I don't give a shit about that. They should be snapping, because it drove me nuts trying to line something up, and
Well, the problem is like, if you look at it, like, I'll line the box up, but then I'll realize that what's in the box doesn't line up with where I want it, so then I have to. Yeah, that's because they put a box around certain things that aren't boxy, and which I can't fucking stand. Boxy's one of my least favorite people on the internet, but
I don't think anybody is going to know who Boxy is.
I don't know. I hope not.
Nobody who listens to this is going to know who Boxy is.
Thank God. All right.
Almost guarantee it.
Brian,
do you know who Boxy is?
No.
Okay. It was one of those old viral internet people back, like, on YouTube, like, way back in the day.
Yes.
What else? Did we have anything? They added mount animations. New mount animations for... Oh, yeah, the way the mounts come in. For the dragon riding stuff. Like, they just kind of pour it in from behind and you jump up and they come underneath. So, yeah, I think we had talked about this the other night. Because we were comparing the... it was because we were talking about the Tassavesh disc mount. How you jump up and it appears underneath you.
Yeah, I like that. The teleport thing.
Yeah, like the disc ports in and you jump up and land on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you were talking about the Dragonflight mouse, and we're like, okay, that's a lot like the
You're talking about the
one from the BC.
The one from BC, the mana thing.
The lizard, that the phase lizard or whatever,
slides in,
ports in and slides, and you jump up on it. So it's good that they're getting like some of these new mount animations where instead of it's just like you just casting and then just throwing your hands up, and all of a sudden you're on a mount. It's like,
look at me go.
And I'll tell you what, with that new Protodrake, I keep forgetting that Protodrakes have fucking little baby arms, and that the wings aren't their arms. The wings are just their wings, and they walk with their wings, and they have little stunty baby arms. And then, like, they do, like, their special, and they rear back, and then, like, there's, like, these little, like, flipper arms, and it's just like, oh, you're not scary at all.
Little stunty baby arms.
Yeah.
Can't wipe its own ass.
Yeah. Not as bad as a Carnotaurus, but...
Nah, I don't know what that is.
It was a dinosaur that had its arms were even smaller than the T-Rex, and they just were like kind of like angled back on their sides. Oh, like they literally were just like two claws that were like nubs on their body. Seriously, but they didn't really need them. Let's see. There is a gnoll in Dragonflight. His name is Monarch, and apparently he's friendly. You have to do quests with him, and he wears a crown because he's a monarch. Yeah. So that looks like that'll be interesting.
Will it, Jim?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of excited.
Well, you should be.
And it's not
You
just
got beta.
It's not just because
It's
of the beta. It's just like I think Wrath.
I mean, it better be because of the beta, you fucking asshole.
No, it's just like, well, looking at it, it's like, okay, like in the rest area, you know how you used to have the little icon on your experience bar?
Yeah.
Well, now where your character
Z's.
thing is, there's these by your little character plate. Come up
so
off your little character head frame when you're in a rested area. So it's like little Z's, so you can.
Isn't that where they were before?
I guess so, but it's a better animation.
Oh.
I haven't used the stock UI in ages, and I forget that. Yes, it puts it on your character portrait, but now they're like little Z's that come off of it, like in an animation. Oh, I know what else fucking pisses me off.
Oh.
So they
what really grinds your gears?
So level of DK. Go to talk to Thrall to join the Horde and all that stuff. And he's dead. He's not there. They came in and killed him. He wasn't even there. So, okay, fine. I'm waiting around. And the whole time, this was what?
Isn't that phased?
No. You go to Ogremar and do it. It's not phased.
When you go to Ogremar, you walk through and you get the fruit thrown at you, and that's
It's not phased. It's not phased.
It wasn't it before?
I don't think it ever was.
No, I don't think so.
No, because you could watch new Death Knights come in and get shit thrown at them.
I thought that was phased.
No. It's not phased.
Yeah,
so he was
it was
dead.
annoying too.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and the whole time, I'm like, I'm just going to wait. And he never spawned. I just logged out and did it this morning. But like the Kokron guards are just spitting on me. Like, and I'm like,
They're just sitting there.
I think they get dehydrated.
I'm like, they fucking took that shit out of the game, but they left it in here. They left them able to do it. That's
oh, they did.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They took it out.
You can't spit on people anymore.
Yeah.
I think they took that whole emote out a while back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't slash spit.
Right.
Yeah, but they let the NPCs do it. Why are they better than me?
Well, what the hell? That's weird.
I mean, I get what it's trying to do. It is a flavor thing. They're throwing rotten fruit at you. They're spitting at you and all that stuff because that's what you do as a sign of disgust and all that stuff. But I'm just funny. I just find it funny that they left it in.
Yeah, that is.
And they didn't even think about it because that phase of the social justice shit is gone by, and you know, I guess it's not toxic when the computer is being toxic to you, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't piss me off. I just thought it was interesting. But no, I'm excited because like I'm enjoying playing the old school Death Knight stuff. You know, I've got 2 achievements left to get the Veil Strider thing, and it's just the Night Fae reputation and the Ember Court guests, you know, and then that's done. And then, you know, and it's just like I have the beta to mess around with, and if I didn't have the beta, I'd be in the PTR messing around just because I primarily want to but check out how the game is with the talents, how the UI stuff is, maybe do a bit of crafting, see how that feels, because it'll be interesting. Actually, I need to look and see if the crafting changes are retroactive to the earlier stuff. I don't think they will be, but it would be nice if they are.
They did change. I mean, they changed UI. That's for dang sure. But yeah. I don't know what changes you're talking about.
Well, just like the order stuff and the ability to craft things and improve them and stuff like that. I don't know. It's something we can get into later. We'll have a full report next week.
Full report on evokers and everything.
Yeah, Kristen. Well, we'll let Kristen play around with the character creation so she can.
Oh yeah.
You know, because that'll take her like 6 hours, so she can write a full detailed report on it. And then I'll just mess around with the talent trees and all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be. I don't know. It's. I feel like it's an exciting time again, and it's just like.
Aww.
I like WoW, and I like to feel excited about WoW, and I'm kind of feel excited about WoW again. You know, it wasn't that I was, fell out of favor with the game, but it was starting to get a little bit dull, kind of repetitive. It's like it wasn't like anything like super exciting to do. There was just stuff to do, but now we got like all this new lore coming out, new stuff to the game, old stuff to the game with the classic stuff coming out and whatnot. So I don't know. I am kind of excited. So
good. I'm glad.
I don't know if you guys have anything.
I feel like if anybody deserves beta, it's you.
Why? Because I just keep playing?
Yes.
Because you're the master.
Thank you, Brian. What?
Because you've never once lost faith in the game.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, even when we quit to go play other games, it wasn't for a dislike or disenchantment with World of Warcraft. It was more so, oh, here's this new thing. Here's this Korean MMO. Here's Ion. Let's go check that out.
Shiny. Ooh, shiny.
Ooh, shiny.
It was, and stuff like that. But now, it's like all the new MMOs that are coming out don't even fucking interest me anymore.
Yeah,
it's
they're
like because they're all like that New World type or Lost Ark, like they're like action ones or super sandboxy and like a lot of PvP stuff in them, I guess, and stuff. And it's just like, no, you know what? It's like I like Guild Wars 2. It's still out there, still producing content. I can jump back in and play that whenever I want. I like World of Warcraft. It's still, even though it's changed from back in the day, it's still pretty stable and pretty fun to do. And there's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of DKs to level. There's that. And so, it's like, I mean, unless something comes along that's like a combination of those two, or like in Final Fantasy 14 is good to play. It's got good story, even if it is mostly story if you're just going through the main story quest because it's all out and that's your primary means of leveling, and it's like do a quest and sit through half an hour of cutscenes, but that's it's fun in and of its own right. I like Final Fantasy, I like those worlds, I like those types of characters and all that stuff. So those right there are pretty much the 3 MMOs that really interest me. Everything else is just kind of like
Yeah, I like the old school. I don't like the new stuff Guild Wars 2 notwithstanding, because I enjoyed Guild Wars 2, and even though it's more action-y than I prefer, because I do like the hotbar, standing there casting, not having to move, more especially as I get older. I appreciate it a lot more. I still enjoy Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is just, and I hate to say this, but it's just a little too grindy for me. Everything is a grind in that game.
Yeah.
From getting gold to getting the, collections and whatnot and doing stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's... Yeah. I mean, they do that because there's not really, like, their end game content. Like, it's all, like, you don't grind for gear so much as you do just to get other things, because, like, they don't really have, like, a gear progression system like the other ones do, where it's like, okay.
Battle Cat agrees.
Yep. But, yeah, so, yeah, it is more grindy. But, you can pop on, do a little bit, pop off, and and stuff like that. Like Ion was super grindy, but that was grindy for a different reason because that was all level grinding, that was just like a pain in the ass. But yep, I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
Me.
I don't mind a grind, but I don't want the whole game to be a grind.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the whole game is a grind. And that's too much for me.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Well, I think we'll probably go ahead and just wrap it up there. I think that's been pretty insightful. I think everybody now has a better understanding of everything we talked about because we're so eloquent in the way we speak. And we put forth our ideas in such ways that it's easy to understand and digest. So thank you, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at facebook.com/server-restart-in. Shoot us a tweet at @server_restart. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.